Hello, hello, my dear health seekers. Inga from Health Origins here, and welcome to Cook Along for Weight Loss show. So today is going to be a very quick show because I'm going to walk you through of how I made the mince. So we're going to be making a sweet mince tarts. However, we're going to be using, instead of normal short crust pastry, we're going to be doing a little bit of a cheat and using puff pastry. So you can buy this ready rolled puff pastry and they're vegan just by default. And then I'm going to walk you through how to make this amazing fragrant vegan mince, sweet mince yourself. Okay, so I've done this earlier today and it was so simple and it's so delicious. So I'm just gonna pull up the ingredients. I've put them in the description below, but just I'll walk you through the process of how I make it. So you're gonna need 2 oranges. So you need to zest them and also juice from them. So you need to buy unwaxed oranges, ideally organic. Most organic oranges that you buy will be unwaxed, and that's great because obviously you're using the peel, so you don't want any waxes or pesticides or anything on them. So 2 oranges, so zest them and juice them in a jug. Also 1 lemon, zest it and also the juice. Okay. Then I've added 200 grams of dark muscovado sugar. So if you don't have muscovado sugar, another option would be to just use any old regular demerera brown sugar and use a couple of tablespoons of molasses that you can buy. So put that in the jug, in the liquids. Then to the liquids, add half a teaspoon of almond essence. Yeah. Some people use flaked almonds, and if you like nuts in your mince pies, you can put them there. But I kind of wanted a softer mince. I didn't want any bits of nut in there, so I've opted for almond essence, half a teaspoon of almond essence. Then you're going to need I think that is it for the wet ingredients, right? For the, dry-ish ingredients, if you like, you will need 2 large Bramley apples or any other kind of tartar apple variety. So if you've got them organic, you can just quarter them, take out the core and grate them with the actual peel attached. Or it's up to you. If you like it a little bit softer, no bits at all, then you can peel the apples and then grate them. So 2 apples grated. Then you need about 4 medjool dates, or if you're using any other dates, maybe 5 or 6 of smaller dates, about 80 grams of dates chopped up. Then about 700 grams of dried fruit. So what I used 200 grams of dried cranberries, and then I've used 200 grams of raisins, the bigger ones, yeah. So that's 400, and then I used 300 grams of sultanas, which is the smaller ones. So I've used those 3, but if you like using glazed cherries, for example, as well, or if you want some candied peel in there, you can add that there too. Then you will need 2 teaspoons of ground allspice. So basically what I did, I just put everything in a stainless steel pot. So the grated apple, the dates, the fruit, the 700 grams of mixed dried fruit. Then I put 2 teaspoons of ground allspice, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1 teaspoon of ground ginger powder. I mean, if you have any other spices that you prefer, if you have a spice mix, some people like pumpkin spice as well, you can substitute for that. So, you know, you can experiment. But this mixture that I made, it really, you know, has that kind of traditional taste. And that is it. So then pour the liquid ingredients on top, mix it in, and put the lid on and put it on to cook for about 10-15 minutes. And, you know, let the liquids kind of stay there, not to evaporate, just have the lid on. And if you see that it's too dry, if your apples are not as juicy, they haven't released too much water, then pour a little bit of additional orange juice in there, okay? And that is it. So it took about 15-20 minutes to cook this sweet mince, and then you just leave it to cool it down, and that's it. It's ready to be put into your mince pies. So, like I said, we're going to be using a sheet of ready rolled puff pastry for this. So if you have cutters, cookie cutters, for example, like round ones, we're going to be using a muffin tin. So if you have round cookie cutters, you'll need kind of 2 shapes, if you like, one a bit bigger and one a bit smaller. So I've got 2 glasses instead, right? So one per, the rim is a bit larger. So this is going to be for the bottom, and this one is a bit smaller. So this is going to be for the top. Another actual neat trick that I saw today from another blog that was looking at mince pies, they had strips of parchment paper cut like this, and what they do before placing a tart in there, they put it inside just like this, and then the 2 little ends, you know, stay outside, and then you can just nicely, neatly, you know, pick it up by these once it's actually cooked. So that's a really neat trick. So I'm going to be using that to pop our tarts in. With the puff pastry, it's quite oily, so you know you're probably gonna get away with not using that at all, because it rises quite a bit and you can, you know, pick it up quite easily. But if you're using short crust pastry, then this is a really great trick to kind of not break it and, you know, take it out easily. So if you want to make your tarts with the normal original short crust pastry, as usual, I've linked below to my short crust pastry recipe that I made for my lemon curd tarts. Yeah, so have a look at that, and then you can use that pastry to combine with this mince recipe. So what I'm going to do, so I've got one already pre-cut here, but basically you cut the bottom out with your either cookie cutter or your glass. So you just carefully cut it and place it in the bottom of your muffin tin. Okay, so you know, try to kind of sink it in nicely like that, and then we'll take a tablespoon of mince and place it in the center. Obviously, remember that the puff pastry, you don't need to fill it the sides like completely, because puff pastry will puff inside. So you know, give it some room to expand. So add it in the middle, about a tablespoon, and then for the top, what we're going to do, I'm going to cut a smaller circle here. And then if you want, for a nice decoration, you can use a smaller cookie cutter one. Mine is, I don't know if you can see, this is like a Christmas tree. This is like a star. So I'm just gonna make Christmas tree indentation, cut it out so that it reveals the mince in the middle. So yeah, so I've got my nice Christmas tree pattern here, and I'm gonna just put the lid on top and slightly press it so that the edges seal together. And then we have some plant milk. So this is some soy milk I've got with a pastry brush, and just brush a little bit of milk just on the top, just for that browning, nice browning for in the oven. As you can see, this is what we are making